Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on? What's going on, y'all? It's Wednesday night. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. What's good with you? Been watching a couple games, was watching the WNBA game, was watching highlights of the football game, reading some stuff, working on graphics, man. I got everything going on, man. What's happening now? What's happening? What's good? What's good? Carlos first out the limo. Quentin up here as usual. Chris as usual. Donnie Four. What's up, Donnie Four? Humble servant, championship season loading. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So, perfect show for a butt kicking. You took your jujitsu. You was rolling tonight. You was rolling tonight. I was thinking about that the other day, man. I got a friend of mine that I worked with at Apple, and he's one of the head guys at a dojo, Brazilian dojo, not too far from me. And I was like, man, now if I started rolling, I bet you I'd lose about 40 pounds in a month. If I started rolling on like on a regular, like going like 2 and 3 nights a week, probably shoot, I could drop that weight in a hot second. But in any case, so yeah, man, get your butt on the mat, man. Do what you got to do. We definitely gonna have to cut some guys that deserve to make the team, but the numbers at that position might not be in their favor. But regardless, I'll be confident in the roster starts. Listen, man, it's some things going on. It is some crazy stuff. Me and Tone did a show last week where we talked about our projected 53-man roster, and all of that shit is blown up. Because I mean, with the exclusion of the starters, Dickerson ain't going nowhere, Jalen ain't going nowhere, AJ and Devontae, Dallas, Saquon, Nakobe Dean, he's on the pup list, but Jihad is making the team. Zach Bond is there, Trot Jr. is there, Quignon, Coop. Now, when it comes to Ringo and Adoree Jackson and Jakarian Bennett, Bennett's going to make the team, but it's just a weird situation because we got so many injuries at the end of camp. Like, we got a ton of injuries. Johnny Wilson is down. Elijah Cooks is down. He was challenging Johnny Wilson for that spot. I saw the video today. He jogged out in practice, so I don't know what the situation is with that. I thought he was hurt pretty bad, but Johnny Wilson had a phenomenal camp the last 2 games, so I don't know what they're gonna do, man. They got some decisions to make because they got some injuries they got to worry about. Johnny Wilson goes down, and then is it a coincidence that Howie Roseman had just signed Mechie? I said, man, that's some damn good timing, if you ask me. Damn good timing, man. Chris, I was planning on getting it up, man, but just stuff got in the way, and I was trying to get to it as soon as I could. So it's all good. Sometimes you might be a little bit late because life be lifing. But yeah, I'm gonna try to I'm trying to make a habit to get to be daily with the live streams at least 3 to 5 times a week. At least three. I got to do at least 3. So that's the goal. I'm still a little unsure of the time. I know, like, I'm coming at 10:30 because other stuff was going on, but I don't know if, like, would 10 be better? Like, I don't know, because I'm trying to think of, like, if it's a Monday night football game on, that game starts at 8, so that's not going to get over till like almost 11 o'clock. So I'm thinking 10:30 will be probably the best time. I don't know. Let me know what you think, man. Put it in the chat. Would it be better at 10 or 10:30? Especially if we got anybody from the West Coast. And you know, Paolo gonna pop in every now and then. He over in Italy. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, man, it's all good. It's that's the hey, Carlos, that cornerback two position. I don't think it's I think Ringo was out. And you know, I was a rider for Ringo. You know, I've been talking up Ringo since last year. I was ready to see him play and come in and just kind of take control. I like some of the plays that he made last year, but listen, man, it don't always manifest the way you think that it should. And he he's fast, he's big at 6'2" with 4.3 speed and can be physical when he wants to be. That's what your prototype is. But for whatever reason, that young fella cannot move his hips, man. He can't do it. Then he gets handsy and overzealous, and he overplay. Excuse me, he overplays, which is what got him in trouble in the preseason games. So I don't know. It looks like, based on the reports I heard, I think Zangaro was talking about that. Him and Rube on the Eagle Eye podcast, they were talking about that he was with the twos and the threes. So it looks like Jacorian Bennett has got the spot. All he got to do is stay healthy. But the way things have started out, Keely Ringo just better stay ready, because we getting bit by that injury bug. I hope we getting all this stuff out of the way in the preseason. So it's got to be better than that. What's going on, Tiff? We got to be better than that, man. So, if they keep him, they're gonna keep him from depth. They're gonna keep him for depth. But it's a lot of things going on, like you see in the background, right? Like you see what's going on in San Francisco, right? And this is the type of stuff, just as an example. DeMarcus Robinson suspended 3 games, right? Brandon Ayuk is injured. Jawan Jennings is injured. Jordan Watkins is injured. So they got to make decisions. The cut day is Tuesday for them too. So they got to make decisions. Minnesota Vikings are in the same boat. One of their starters is suspended, so they gotta shuffle some things around. And 3 weeks can cause some damage in the NFL. You already know that. If you fall behind, 1-2 or 0-3 or something like that, that can get away from you real quick. So, what's up, Stu Vision? If he was given reps like he should have gotten from day one, so he'd be ready by now. If the CBA didn't hamstring the practice time, I'm old school coach. 2 or 3 days type shit. Listen, man. I agree with you. I agree with you. However, everybody else got the same issues, and everybody else didn't make the same mistakes. I can't. This is the world we live in now. So I'm old school too. I'm used to banging 2 practices a day and really getting it in and getting calloused and getting that work in and making your body sore and getting used to the punishment. That's how I came up. That's how I came up, running ISO plays with Seth Joyner, and I'm a 205-pound running back. Come on, man. I understand what you're saying. They just don't operate that way now. It's too much money being made, and you don't want to beat your guys up. So I wish we would have adopted that left coast terminal, that logic when I was playing. Because I never forget, man. It was 2 times. It was Tim Harris, not Tim Harris. Yeah, Tim Harris, but it was Michael Thompson. Michael Thompson was a defensive tackle that played most of his good years for the 49ers. And we signed him. And when we started banging in camp, after the first day, he was gone. He was like, I think we ended up signing him for like that Joker got like an $820,000 signing bonus or something like that, and then walked after the first day of practice. The first day of full pad full contact practice, he was like, "Nah, I'm too old for this shit. I don't want to do this no more," and he bounced. And I was like, "Damn, did he just get us for like 800 something thousand? Like whatever it was, whatever it was. I could be over exaggerating because I don't exactly remember what his signing bonus was, but I thought his signing bonus was like 800 something thousand, and he had like a multi-million-dollar contract for a couple years. But after being in practice for a day or two, he was out. He said he didn't want to do it. And then there was another situation where I was in Jacksonville at this point. I was in Camp Coughlin in Jacksonville. When Tom Coughlin got that job, they signed me and I was in camp. They ended up cutting me, but I was down there in camp. And I remember Ernest Givens was down there. If you don't recognize Ernest Givens, he played with the Houston Oilers. Look his name up. He was a pretty good receiver back in the day. And he was down there and he was like, "I'm too old for this shit." Because when I tell you Coughlin was beating us the hell up, he was beating us the hell up. And on top of that, it was like 98 degrees with 100% humidity damn near every day. That was my first experience with Florida humidity down there. And I never forget coming out of the locker room. The first day I was down there, funny story. When they signed me and I got down there, you trying to act like you with it and you in shape and this, that. So I'm walking around. I got ankle weights on. Remember the ankle weights where you just it was like a wristband of weights and you would Velcro them and you could wear them on your ankle. So I'm wearing the ankle weights down there and people looking at me like, yo, what's up with this dude? Like you rocking the ankle weights? It was like they wasn't clowning me. They were just like, yeah, he ain't been here. He just getting here. So, man, let me tell you something. Tom Coughlin belt beat us to death. And when Ernest Givens was like, "I'm too old for this shit. I didn't sign up for this. I'm trying to preserve my body so I can get a couple more years in at the end of my career." Because he was at the end of his career and he was trying to get a couple more in so he could get in and get out. And we got down there and Coughlin was beating the hell out of us. Because remember, Coughlin had that famous come to Jesus meeting when he got that job in New York. And the players was about to revolt on him. And he was like, I guess I better start doing this different. Because it was like, man, and that's when it started. You can't beat up on each other for 4 weeks like we used to do back in the day. Not you can't do that and then want to pay somebody $100 and something million and then they hurt halfway through the season. You can't do that. That's why they do what they do. That's why they had that measured practice, man. Trust me when I tell you this. When the NFL changes something, they have done extensive research, study, scientists, the whole nine. They get their facts in a row and they get their research on and they do their homework before they make a decision like that. So rest assured that the amount of rest, and remember when Chip Kelly came in with the protein shakes and the amount of sleep that people was getting, he was crazy with it. But there was some logic behind that. There was some truth behind that. Understanding where everybody was, everybody's weight, everybody had predetermined meals. He was that calculated with it, and there is some benefit to that. He just took it to the nth degree, and folks was just like, nah, they got sick of it, and it wasn't yielding wins. That's the bad part about it. You can do that if you beating the hell out of everybody. But they wasn't doing it. So you got to change up. And that's what they did. So, but it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Yeah, man, that Orlando, something different, bro. Something different down there. I'm trying to think where we were. We were in Jacksonville, but like, I'm trying to remember where we practiced. It was close to the stadium, I think. I don't know what they got down there now, but if I remember correctly, we were close to the stadium. And then I remember I thought I had an opportunity to make the team, but then that last preseason game, it was a fullback down there, and they gave this joker the ball on the 3-yard line like 4 times, and this dude ended up scoring like 4 touchdowns in the game, and they ended up keeping him. But it was a crazy experience, man. And that heat, boy, that heat is something special down there. Tell you what, that's something different. You got to be born into that to appreciate that, man. So, what you said, Jaws was still the quarterback. Yeah, you talking about old school, man, old school. So, but it's just it's a different world now, man. So, you got stuff like this with Demarcus Robinson. Let me see if I can find some information on the dude from the Vikings. He just got suspended. Um, then you got the stuff going on with Micah Parsons. Then you got let me see, George's Justin Phillips, Miami. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see nothing down here. I just read something yesterday. I thought they might have it, but they don't. But in any case, let me see if they got anything. NFL. They had the teams. Go to Vikings. Somebody got suspended on the Vikings. What is this? What is this nonsense? I just picked the Vikings, and then they give me this bull jive. Come on now. Here we go. Phillips. Jordan Addison. Harrison Phillips just got traded. Yeah, I can't remember the dude's name. Justin Jefferson just came back to practice after a while. So and I'm saying all this to say, like, everybody got injuries, man. Y'all know me. Everybody get a turn. Everybody get a turn. So, yeah, I remember Kevin Cobb. I think he was at he came to one of the alumni days before. Him and what's his name? Was it AJ Green? Was it? I can't remember what was the quarterback's name? I see him all the time. I can't remember. Yeah, it was the chip era. Jordan Addison. Thank you, Alex. Jordan Addison. So, but I'm getting diverted here. Everybody got issues, and it looks like we're gonna be limping to the damn opening day. And I'm like, man, if we lay an egg against Dallas when we get in the ring ceremony and all of that kind of stuff, like, nah, we got to be on point. We got to be on point. So, but it's we just had a bad rash of injuries, like all at the same time. That's what's so bad about it. That's what's so bad about it. So I know that, humble. I know that. I'm just, expressing my angst because it's here, man. I remember when we were still down at the art museum. I remember sitting back there with Jason Kelsey and Brent Selleck about to walk to the steps. The security had just come in, and they was going to escort to the steps where all the alumni could sit down out front while they was giving the speech, man. So just the fact that I could be a part of 2 parades, Super Bowl parades, two parades. So we didn't get anywhere close to that. I mean, that year that I was there in '93, that's the year that Randall got hurt, tore his knee. If you see the famous Eric Allen pick 6, where he hands Randall the ball coming out the tunnel against the Jets in New York, that's the year I was on the squad. And when Randall got hurt, we had just signed Bubby Brister from Pittsburgh, and Bubby Brister didn't know the plays yet, and it showed. So, Some might be precautionary. Some injuries might be precautionary, but for the most part, they are. They're doing what they got to do. Tiffany, what you seeing? What you seeing? Holla at me. Put a link up. If you see anything, put a link up because I'll pop it up on the screen. So definitely don't scare me like that. Don't scare me like that. Yeah, Makuba had that great preseason game and then already hurt. So well, let's just say we was going to the playoffs. I know that. We was going to the playoffs. Our defense was still tight. Randall was playing well. We had Victor Bailey was playing pretty good. Herschel was doing Herschel things. So we had a squad. We had a squad. Just you got to stay healthy, man. Got to stay healthy. And if you're not gonna stay healthy, you better have a good backup, man. That's why. Listen, Tanner McKee, Tanner McKee, you in for it. That's why I don't understand why the Browns are screwing around with Shador. Man, make Shador your number 2. Kenny Pickett hasn't touched the field yet because he got a hamstring issue. But I would argue right now that Shador is better than Kenny Pickett. So, yes, Kenny Pickett's got more experience, but they learn in the same offense. They got to learn new things, different, And Kenny Pickett had his shot. He was the first pick. He was the first round pick. And Shador was a much better college quarterback than Kenny Pickett was. So, and I'm saying all that to say, you need a good backup. Don't sleep on a good backup quarterback. So, Quentin, I don't think they just awarded Makuba the job. I think Keely Ringo had 2 bad games and he didn't have a great camp. So, because let me be honest with you, I saw for myself Keely Ringo make the same exact play where Jamar Chase scored on him. He over pursued, the receiver cut right underneath him and took off on him. And that was in practice. When I was there, I saw it from my own eyes. So I look at that from the standpoint of that play that I saw at practice. That play is on tape, and they go back and they watch practice. That's what they watch in film session. So I know it had to be some conversation said, and he made the same mistake. The worst thing you can do is keep making the same mistake, and they'll get rid of you like a bad habit. So you got to show some improvement. And as much as I am a fan of Keely Ringo, he wasn't showing that improvement because tape don't lie. Tape don't lie. And then you go back and you look at some of his plays, and it's like, man, if they threw the ball your way, either you ain't nowhere near the ball, or it's gonna be a pass interference because he gets handsy. I didn't realize he was that handsy off the ball. When you backpedaling and you get to that 10, 12-yard mark, and that's usually when the receiver is going to break to run the route. He's going to break in, break out, hard in, bend it back to the middle, different things like that, depending on what route he's running. And you got to be able to open your hips or close your hips and run with them, not put your hands on, because they're going to call that every time. And he was always getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar. So it's one of those things, man. But we got to be we got to have our P's and Q's going into the season. We got to be ready to rock and roll. But I think we will. I think we will. I'm dropping the link in the chat if anybody want to come on. So, but I think we will. I think we will. We got to just Jalen will be fine. Devontae will be fine. I am a little bit concerned about AJ, but I think he'll be fine. So yeah, you weren't the only one, man. You weren't the only one. So once again, I got supreme confidence in Howie that he will solve the problem. Oh, yo, Quentin, I watch Murph all the time, dude. I watch Murph all the time. All the time. So he's got good film study. So for sure. But we got to be ready to go. got to be ready to go, handle our business, and let's put our best foot forward and make a good first impression as we start to run it back. And that's all it's about. Defense has got to be tight. I think Jahad Campbell is going to be the rookie of the year. I think we're gonna have plenty of people surprising you. I think Nolan Smith is gonna have a good year. Jahad is gonna have a good year. Yeah, Alex, people overreact all the time. What's up, Chris?
What it do, Coach? You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, we finally back up, I think.
All right.
It was a couple of things that I don't know if I had put it in the chat that I had wrote it, but first thing I was gonna ask you is how, because the Eagles, they haven't been playing, most of the main guys through training camp, and I've been hearing, Devontae and AJ, some of the guys been injured. So are you in any way, at least, especially considering with the schedule we got to start, this year, are you worried at all about a little rust coming out the gate potentially? Because I'm like, if you look at that first 4 or 5 game stretch we got, I don't think we got to be perfect necessarily, because the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. But I mean, we kind of got some teams where I don't think you want to be too rusty coming out the gate. You kind of worried about that at all?
Nah, not really. Because look around the league. Look around the league and how many teams play their starters in preseason.
Right.
If you a starter playing in preseason, there's a reason. You rehabbing, you're doing something a little extra. But for the most part, let's be honest. What is Joe Burrow going to do that much better with one series in a preseason game? Not much. So they go hard enough in practice, and when you're talking about 4, 5, and 6 year vets, they know how it's done.
They know what they got to be doing.
Yeah, they understand what game speed means. The only thing that bothers me is the only thing that comes into play for me, and in my opinion, is when you're talking about defense. Because I go back and I look at 2023, and our defense couldn't catch a cold. We couldn't tackle. We couldn't get anybody on the ground. And it was horrible.
It was rough.
Absolutely horrible. Even though the bottom fell out of the team that year, we would have been a lot better if we were tackling just at a decent level. And I never understood what was the cause of that. So I got to blame it on Johnson and Matt Patricia. But or was Sean Desai? Sean
Desai and then Patricia, because they had made the switch.
So I don't know what.
That's the thing about
that dead tree, but
because that's the thing that I think stuck out, vividly about 23. It wasn't so much I didn't remember, at least, we don't want to really remember it, but I don't remember so much busted coverages left and right all the time. It was just they couldn't get nobody on the ground. You know what I'm saying? It was like it would be a 3rd and 10, and they throw a little 5-yard pass and dude break a tackle or two, and he done picked up another first down. It was stuff like that more so. That was just like, as opposed to, it wasn't so much. I don't remember like guys just running open in the secondary all the time. It wasn't that. They just couldn't they couldn't get nobody down.
You know what? I remember the 49ers game specifically.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Because Debo just went nuts.
Yeah.
And we were getting hands on them, but it was like everybody was tackling like they was in the 6th grade. They was trying to tackle shoulder pad level. Nobody was attacking his hips or nothing like that. And he just ran through us.
And that's the biggest difference I thought with Fangio. Wasn't obviously, schematically, what I'm saying, what he did was great, and obviously the secondary was good, but the fact that they were probably the best tackling team in the league, you know what I'm saying?
We
they
went
got
from worst
dudes,
to first.
like worst to first, and I'm like, just that difference in tackling alone.
Yep. And you know who went the opposite way? Miami.
They sure did.
They talked all of that smack.
They talked
kicking rocks and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, man, it's like you gonna F around and find out. And that's exactly what they did. Defense wins championships, and their defense was suspect. You had a good coach down there, man. That's why I'm so glad we got him here. He would have been here earlier, but he had already committed. And that was a personality thing. He said he committed and didn't want to renege on him. And I understand that, and I respect that. Or he would have been with the Eagles 2 years early. So And I would venture to say, if it had been Vic Fangio in that Super Bowl rather than Jonathan Gannon, maybe we would have came out with a win because maybe our defense would have got a sack that damn game.
Man, at least one. You know what I'm
At
saying?
least
At
one.
least one. I mean,
At least
just
one. We'd have been doing things differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure a whole lot different. I mean, that was a 3-point game with all that. We couldn't
With all
this,
exactly
with
as
with
bad
all
as
that.
our defense played, we still had an opportunity to win that game, and it basically came down to it came down to Jalen's fumble, but he made up for that because he took the lead again. But it was that punt return in the fourth quarter that took him down to the 5, and it was that penalty at the end.
Yeah, and my thing is, for as bad as the defense, if they could have gotten one stop to or even if they gave up a field goal, just didn't give up so much clock to or because the way Jalen was playing that game, if he would have had one last drive, I like our chances for real. Like, because it was a 3-point game, all he had to do was get us in the field goal range at minimum. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, hey, it is.
But that was Mahomes doing Mahomes thing.
He sure was.
He was slinging that ball around. We had our opportunities to stop him, and we couldn't.
Couldn't do it.
You got to look at the totality of it. And if there would have been one play that would have turned, to our favor, maybe we had a different outcome. But woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. We ain't dealing with we ain't Manti Te'o.
No,
we ain't
not
dealing with what ifs.
Man.
So
I
was so mad at that shit when I heard that. I was like,
what he said about Dylan Gabriel's that whole thing, man.
I was like, first of all, Dylan Gabriel did have a good game.
He did.
But you just not gonna forget the pick 6 and the fumble because as a running back, we are taught you never look at the ball. You are looking at the hole. You were looking at your blockers, your pulling guard, or whatever. You never look at the ball because the minute you look at the ball, you got a tendency to want to close your pocket because you're reaching for the ball. So you never supposed to look at it. You're supposed to have your thumb down that forces your elbow up, and that makes a nice big old pocket that the quarterback can stick it in there. Dylan Gabriel did not get back deep enough. He did not get back fast enough, and he tried to hand it off on the side.
He sure did. And then the Manti, he was, he said what he said, which was whatever. But then I didn't love, and I know, and I think you had a little video on it about what Dylan said after the game, the whole entertainers versus competitors thing. And my thing was, man, listen, stand on what you say, dog. I don't think there's anywhere in the world he didn't know what could come from that, man.
Well, honestly, let me say it like this. I don't think he even thought about it. But that's his bad.
That's his bad still, though.
That's his bad.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, I ain't gonna put it. It does sound bad, but he would be incredibly stupid to try to take a shot at one of his teammates in camp because your other teammates don't like that shit at all. And it puts you in a bad light, especially when you're supposed to be the quarterback and you out front. But when I saw Uncle Ocho that later on that night, they reminded me that's the same type of shit his coach used to say at Oregon. And I remember when Oregon played Colorado and they
sure did
all of that talking.
Yeah.
And Lanning said something very similar to that. Because I remember
he said
they here for the clicks, we here for the
clicks. Yeah,
we here for the businesses, whatever it was. And I was like, when I thought about that, I was like, okay, he knew exactly what he was saying.
Facts.
Maybe he didn't think it was going to have the ramifications that it did, and I don't understand why people just kind of dismiss that. But he said what he said, and I'm with you. I'm like, stand on it. Don't change up now. Don't change up in post game.
Man, because my thing is, especially because knowing his college background, and clearly when his coach said it at Oregon, he was talking about Deion in there. Like, there was no doubt. So I'm like, coming from that, and you kind of, you young, but you still kind of old enough to say, what you're saying and what could come out of that. The fact that you could even put that.
He was in college for 6 years.
He was, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you know who your teammate is and who you competing with right now. You know the potential ramifications. And then for me to be like, and then here's my thing. If you're going to be that guy, be it. Just say, you know what? I said what because I don't think his coach backed up from what he said. Just say, you know what? That's what I come from, this and that. But then when he tried to say, well, I was taking a shot at the media. I'm like, the media? What you mean? You've played one preseason game, dog. What media is coming at you like that?
Right.
Like that's what I didn't like about the whole thing. And because when Shedeur balled, I just always look at it from the perspective of if the roles was reversed,
Right.
what would the outrage if
He
Shedeur
got
would have
shredded.
came out there, or God forbid if they heard Dion over a mic or something like that say, well, yeah, Shedor's out there to play. He ain't here for no entertainment.
Shedeur would have
Man,
got shredded. He would have got shredded.
he got
If,
shredded.
if the situation was reversed,
Mm-hmm.
and it had been Shedeur that had thrown that pick six, whether it was his fault or not, he would have got shredded. They'd have talked about, well, if you're going to be at this level, you just got to know. No, it wasn't his fault. They'd have had every reason in the world why he shouldn't have thrown that pick, why he should have been better at handoffs.
Man.
And it would have been all over the place. And I'm like, Dillon Gabriel. And when I saw Dillon Gabriel myself, when I went to Eagles practice and I saw him for myself, the first thing I thought was, he's good, but he's just meh. He all right. He ain't gonna light nobody up.
Right.
I don't even think, in my opinion, I don't even think he's, well, I'm being a little bit premature here. I was gonna say, I don't even think he's as good as Brock Purdy.
Nah.
Because you're talking about somebody the same size.
Nah,
So,
Brock, I think Brock, and I would never love, some of the, but I do think Brock Purdy, when things are, he processes the game at a really good rate. Like he's an elite processor.
Man, Brock is like Jalen.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
If you gave one of these 6'4" golden arm quarterbacks Brock Purdy stats, that dude would be a perennial all-pro. They would be singing his accolades from ESPN Tower.
Oh yeah.
But because it's Brock Purdy, because he went to a small school, he went to what, Iowa State, I think it is.
Iowa State. And I think he was the last pick in the draft.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Brock Purdy went to a Super Bowl.
Sure did.
And there was a collection of people that all gathered around, sat at the table, took notes, and did everything, watched film, and they decided that Brock Purdy wasn't any good.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Shedeur. Now, Shedeur was a little bit different because everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of how did he drop so far. But the reality of the situation is, it's 32 teams picking, but it was only 4 or 5 teams that really needed a quarterback. So you're looking at the Cleveland Browns, you're looking at the Saints, you're looking at Tennessee. And Tennessee had just drafted a quarterback, 2 years ago?
Will Levis.
Not Will. Before Will Levis.
No.
So that's 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So they had Will Levis and then Malik. Malik. What's the last name? He's not with him no more.
I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, Malik Willis.
Malik Willis, yeah.
Yep. So it is infinitely difficult to pick a winning quarterback.
Absolutely.
But why? And I've heard the same thing here about Darius Cooper. Like I watch the Eagle Eye podcast and all that kind of stuff. And if I got to hear Rube talk about he's so surprised at Darius Cooper because he played at an FCB school, and I'm like, the 100 yards is the same at 1AA FCS school as it is at an Alabama or LSU. It's the same 100 yards. If you throw him the ball, can he catch it? He don't care who it comes from.
So I gotta ask you on to piggyback off that point. Do you think it's a different perspective? Because there's this debate a lot. Because you're an athlete and you're also in the media now, so you have both perspectives. Do you think it's a different way that athletes, guys that play currently or have played the game, is there a clear difference in the way you guys view things as opposed to media guys? Because like when I watch Cooper play, I don't care where you went to school. That don't matter. That 100 yards, like you said, is the same. But like you said, you hear a Reuben Frank and he's surprised because he went to Tarleton State the way they rate, or even the way they look at Jalen, because I still think personally, people still look at Jalen not for what he is in the NFL. They still look at him as the dude that was benched for Tua.
Exactly.
I still think that is the stigma.
You are 100% correct because they bring it up every time.
I don't even think they realize that he transferred to Oklahoma and what he did there. I don't think nobody account for that even. They still see.
Also, and you got to remember, when he got benched, he came back the next year.
Mm-hmm. and subbed in the SEC championship game.
Exactly, and ended up winning the national championship anyways.
But they don't because that benching that he had, I can make the argument that's especially because it was a national championship. That's probably one of the more, I guess, memorable things that have happened in the championship game in the last maybe 10 years. Like a starting QB getting benched, that
Absolutely.
just don't happen.
And he deserved to get benched.
Yeah, he did. But I still
at the end of the day, he came out of it. He
did.
Went
He
back
did.
the
But
second
I think
year. He played behind Tua. Then before he transferred, then he went to Oklahoma, and should have won the Heisman, but didn't. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, when you in a situation like that, the only thing you can do is, or the worst thing you can do is bitch about it.
Yeah,
and Jalen's motto. Clearly, he gets that stuff from his dad. But he is the embodiment of poise and what you want your quarterback to be. And people just get mad at him and keep moving the goalposts because I guess they just mad at him. They not hating on him, because everybody get mad at that word now. But at the end of the day, you moving the goalposts.
It is moving of the goal, because
you're moving the goalposts.
I don't get like the whole thing. The whole narrative was last year. Okay, when we came into the season, it was okay. There were questions, and we didn't know what Saquon was going. And then when Saquon got going, the biggest question that everybody had was, well, if they stop the running game, can Jalen deliver? If
they
stop
the ball, can he beat him in the air?
Yeah, and he
does. Like,
and now
you go F around and find out. You go ahead and leave. You go ahead and bring that safety up and put him in the box. Put 8 men in the box, and you're gonna leave AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on islands, one-on-one. Are you willing to take that gamble? And Spagnuolo took that gamble, and he lost.
Yeah, but see, the thing is though, that's not the first time. He did the same thing to Spagnuolo the first Super Bowl. He shredded him then too.
Right.
And that was with Miles Sanders, who wasn't he didn't play well at all. And Miles Sanders, I'm sorry, he didn't play well at all.
Miles Sanders took that hit and didn't get that first down. He was no more good, and it was Kenny Gainwell for the rest of the day.
For the rest of the game. And Jalen was the leading rusher that game too. So I'm like, and Spagnuolo
we got coached Andy Reid out-coached Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. He
ran that same play with the motion, the in and out motion, twice. He ran the same play twice
to the same side.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. We had our opportunities, and we just didn't capitalize on them. And that
we sure did this time around though. The second time around,
we did. We whooped that ass because we had a better defense. We had a better defense, and we had a better defensive coach.
Much better defensive coach, and I think that's why it was. But I can't believe we 2 weeks out now from getting this thing going for real. So you know what I'm saying? I was in a mindset, look, I didn't mind the offseason being as long as it was or as short as it was, because we was champions. So I was in no rush to get back. I'm like, because when the season started, every week we locked in. And so, but the movement of the goalpost for Jalen is crazy though, man. I've never seen a quarterback take this much. Have this much question marks after winning. Like I thought.
I have. I've been around long enough to see it. They did the same thing with Russell Wilson. And let me be honest with you. I am, as much as I hate the Cowboys, I was a fan of Tony Romo. Because Tony Romo went to Northern Illinois, which was at the time, I think, a 1AA school. And they just didn't give him a chance. They didn't want Tony Romo at all. And the only thing he did was ball out. And he ended up being a starter for 8 years or whatever it was.
I was gonna say, do you think, and like I said, we don't like the Cowboys none, but do you think in that case, like with a Tony Romo or not even a Dak, do you think he benefits from being a Cowboy, or it kind of gets too much heat because, like you said, sometimes, or like in Tony's case, he didn't, they didn't want to give him a chance. He came out of a small school, but like, do you think Dak, in the sense that, I think because Dak was a 4th rounder, and now he's playing for them and doing, he's putting up numbers, but I think there's people that feel like, he's getting too much criticism and a lot of stuff ain't his fault.
No, hell no.
Yeah,
hell no. When you have all of them weapons,
man,
and you got that, listen, it comes with the territory, because guess what? And this is how I look at it. If the situation was flipped and Dallas was whooping up on everybody, we'd never hit the end of it.
Sure would.
So it ain't happening like that. So guess what? You get what you get. Take your medicine and run with it. Dak had opportunities. He had really good receivers, and you've had situations where you had really good defenses, really good players, really
Man,
good skilled players. But did nobody tell y'all to go out and draft Deuce Vaughn?
no.
Did
I mean,
nobody tell
because
y'all to keep Zeke 2 years too long?
yeah,
Did nobody tell y'all to do that?
because I mean, they've been, as always, they always dominate the offseason headlines for the wrong reasons. It's never football stuff, but it's a lot of
That's
things.
listen. I said a long time ago. I was looking for this clip and I can't find it because this was when I was on another station before I was doing my own thing. But I remember when Micah Parsons' rookie year, halfway through the season, I remember saying, if Micah Parsons doesn't drink the Dallas Kool-Aid and just stays kind of humble, his quiet self, and just goes out there and ball out, he'll end up being the leader of that defense, and everybody's going to take his mindset. And if that happens, Dallas is going to be dangerous. And as soon as I put that video out, 2 weeks later was when he said what he said about Jalen Hurts on Von Miller's podcast. And it's been downhill ever since. That's when he started popping off
the whole
about
system quarterback thing.
yeah. I was like, man, if you'd have just stayed quiet and stayed humble, but the minute he was on that podcast, school was out. Then he not too long after that, he got his own podcast, and that's when he started talking too much. And then it all tumbled downhill. He drank the Dallas Cowboy Kool-Aid. He jumped into the limelight, and every time you see him, he got to have something to say. And then he watching games, and then he watching the draft, and then he making comments about his ownership and and the decisions that they making. And it's like, man, just you got to sit down in the corner and just shut the hell up sometimes. They don't need to hear all of that. That's not your place.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, we ain't defending no Cowboy nothing, but because the whole thing with him and Jerry's going on. But if I'm looking at it somewhat, from maybe what Jerry might be thinking, I don't know for sure, but he probably like, look, I done paid the quarterback, I done paid the receiver. If I want to pay you, I'm gonna have to do it, and y'all dudes ain't producing nothing. So why am I gonna feel obligated to break the bank or pay you what I want? Because at the end of the day, come January, y'all do what
Dak
y'all
Prescott is not the best player on the team. Micah is.
You sure Micah better than CD?
Yes.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Because I look at it positionally.
I think that's how I go with football.
Is Dak the most important player? Absolutely, because he's the quarterback. He touches the ball on every play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is an old school moniker: defense wins championships. They can't win if they can't score.
But I'm just talking about because there's been games where Micah, and obviously as an overall the totality of him playing, he's been productive. But it just seemed like when they're all healthy, it seemed like, man, when CD's there, CD is like that difference maker for. I mean, Micah is too. Don't get it wrong, but CD just seems to be like, I don't know, man. He seems to be
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah,
I mean, your opinion is your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think Micah's a little bit more important because, like I said, if they can't score, they can't win. CD is going to do his thing. But Micah cannot record one tackle and still affect the game.
Facts. Yeah.
Is he eliciting a double team? Is he jumping all over the place? Is he confusing the offensive tackles? What is he doing?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he can. He's a problem. He's a game plan.
Oh yeah. You have to.
You know what I mean? You gotta, when you play the Cowboys, you gotta figure out how you're gonna stop Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I think that's why the Eagles say they don't even block him when they play Micah. They kind of
let him go around him.
Yeah, they kind of make him. They put him in conflict where he got to usually pick between taking Jalen or taking a dive on the run. But that's that. But yeah, should be a great season though, Coach. I'm looking forward to in a few weeks, man, getting this thing going. That's for sure.
You and me both, bro.
Man, I'm hoping we can take one step at a time, do what we trying to do, and then get to the playoffs healthy and ready to roll for sure.
Yep, we got a long season.
Yeah, it is, man. I'm telling you, I don't think people understand how long the season. That's why I wasn't really tripping with how long the offseason was, because the regular season is just as long. Trust me, it's gonna be a lot of bumps and bruises until we get to playoff time.
Yeah, and everybody got to be alert. This weekend is going to be crazy. It's going to be
Yeah,
crazy
it's gonna be
because
crazy.
the cut day is Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday.
So they got to make their decisions. They're gonna be making their decisions this weekend. That's why you got a lot of games on Friday this week.
You think Darius is gonna make the squad?
Yes.
Okay, I hope so.
Shout out to the 1AA kids.
I hope so, man. I hope we keep. Could you see him having any type of role this year?
Absolutely.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Because I heard people like, well, he might be a special teams kind of guy or something like that. He might be. But I'm talking about within the offense. Not obviously, he's not going to get no targets like AJ or Devontae.
He's going to get his opportunity to get in there because number one, Jalen likes him. Number two, eventually somebody's going to get dinged up.
Oh yeah,
that's as far as you need to go. He might, go in there for a couple plays, give somebody a break, but for the most part, if Smitty gets dinged up or if AJ gets dinged up, however it works out, I got confidence that he'll go in there and do what he's supposed to do.
Facts.
So, I think that's a good pickup. Once again, Howie knows which ones to get. He knows he knows those undrafted players, those diamonds in the rough, and he keeps.
You know what he's doing. I'm not questioning Howie none. I think Howie know what he's doing up there.
That's the Wizard of Philadelphia, bro.
Yes, sir. But yeah, all right, Coach, man, appreciate the time always. How often you gonna be doing going live? You say about 3, or is it gonna change once the season starts?
I'm gonna try to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because Tuesdays me and Tone are gonna have our second show.
Okay. The first one is the Sunday one?
The first one is the pregame, so that'll be Sunday. Still gonna be Sunday at like 10 or 11, depending on what time the game is. And then we're gonna go Tuesday because we don't want to go in with Monday Night Football, so we just go Tuesday.
Oh, yeah,
we got the whole weekend of games to talk about.
Okay, so you're gonna do Tuesdays.
So we're gonna do Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm sorry, man. Sundays and Tuesdays. We might change it up a little. We haven't solidified it yet, but I believe it's going to be Sundays and Tuesdays. So
Sundays, Tuesdays.
We'll see.
Okay. Cool. Perfect. Well, shoot. I'll be in here. I'll be in the chat. You already know how we do it, Coach. And,
all right, man. Bring your friends.
Yes, sir. Go Birds.
Go Birds. That's what's up, Chris. I appreciate that, man. Doesn't make sense to trade Dotson. It does not. I agree with you 100%. But I still think we can keep Dotson and Darius Cooper makes the team, especially with Wilson being hurt. We don't know how bad it is. Anytime that Cryptic can just say lower leg injury, they're not specific. Any other time they can be specific. Now they want to be vague. Nah. So I think Dotson makes the team. So, but it's possible. Anybody's on the table for a trade, man. Anybody's on the table. So, Howie is that dude. Aeneas Smith could get cut, but he could also make the team as strictly a kick returner and punt returner. So, I don't know. They got a lot of decisions to make, man. Lots of decisions. But this is why they get paid the big bucks. This is why they get paid the big bucks. So, yeah, man, that's it. We didn't rock for about an hour. Good conversation. So it looks like Dallas is giving the LA Sparks all they can handle, 66-67. 7 minutes left in the fourth. So, but all right, man. I'm about to get up out of here. Good talk tonight, man. Good talk. So we're gonna have some things ironed out this weekend for me and Tone's second show. We're working on it. Still working on my graphics and get some stuff done. So making progress. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all joining me. Tiffany, Alex, Chris Kaufman, Humble Servant, everybody in the chat, 63, Mortis, Everybody in the chat, man. Q, Alex, everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get up out of here. Stay tuned. I got some stuff that I've already done tonight. I edited a bunch of things in Opus Clips. That kind of stuff is going to be up tomorrow. So do me a favor, when you watch my shorts, make sure you click the little triangle in the bottom left corner and go to the full size video. Make sure y'all do that. So I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate you. I'm gonna holler at y'all and go Birds.